Citizen Kane, 1941, directed by Orson Welles, is often regarded as one of the greatest films in cinematic history. With its innovative narrative structure, groundbreaking cinematography, and complex character study, the film has shaped the way stories are told in cinema. The film explores the life of Charles Foster Kane, a media magnate whose rise and fall become the focus of the film's exploration of ambition, loneliness, and the human condition. Orson Welles, who stars as Kane, directed and co-wrote the film, delivering a work of art that continues to resonate with audiences worldwide. The story, told through fragmented flashbacks, explores Kane's life through the eyes of those who knew him, piecing together the mystery of his life and his final word, Rosebud. The film opens with the death of Charles Foster Kane at his sprawling mansion, Xanadu. Kane, who has amassed enormous wealth and power through his media empire, is alone when he dies. His last word, Rosebud, is heard by those present in the room but does not make sense to anyone. A reporter named Jerry Thompson, played by William Allen, is tasked with investigating the meaning of Rosebud in the hopes of uncovering the truth about Kane's life. Thompson embarks on a journey to interview people who knew Kane at different stages of his life, and through these fragmented recollections, the story of Kane's rise and fall unfolds. The first flashback takes us to Kane's childhood. He was born to a poor family, but when his mother inherits a large fortune, she decides to send him away to live with a guardian, Mr. Walter Thatcher, played by George Coulouris, a wealthy businessman. This moment marks a key turning point in Kane's life, as he is separated from his family and sent to live in luxury. Despite his newfound wealth, Kane is emotionally abandoned by his mother, and this early separation becomes a defining moment in his life. Kane's longing for love and validation begins here, and continues to shape his actions throughout the film. Kane inherits his family's wealth and begins his career in journalism. He takes control of a small, struggling newspaper called the New York Inquirer and turns it into a sensationalist empire. With his influence over the media, Kane uses the newspaper as a platform to manipulate public opinion, making bold claims and pushing his own agenda. The Inquirer becomes one of the most influential newspapers in the country. However, as Kane's professional success grows, his personal life begins to unravel. His ambition, ego, and desire for control alienate those around him, leading to failed relationships and emotional isolation. Kane's first major relationship is with Emily Norton, played by Ruth Warrick, the niece of a prominent politician. They marry early in the film, and their relationship begins with great promise. However, as Kane becomes consumed with his work, Emily becomes increasingly neglected and isolated. Kane's obsession with his media empire pushes her aside, and their marriage deteriorates. Emily becomes disillusioned with Kane's ambitions, and eventually, their marriage ends in divorce. Emily's departure marks the first of many personal failures Kane will experience throughout his life. She leaves Kane, and this event sets the stage for his inability to form lasting relationships, despite his success in business. Kane's second marriage is to Susan Alexander, played by Dorothy Comingore, a young aspiring opera singer. Kane marries Susan after falling in love with her and believing she has potential to be a star. However, Susan has little talent and is reluctant to pursue a career in opera. Kane, unable to accept her limitations, tries to force her into becoming an opera star, pouring all his efforts into making her a success. He builds her a theater, but her lack of talent becomes evident, and the public turns against her. The more Kane tries to control her career, the more it strains their relationship. Susan becomes increasingly unhappy and eventually leaves Kane. This failed marriage is a reflection of Kane's inability to understand the people around him. His need for control and admiration blinds him to the needs and desires of others. Despite his wealth, Kane's personal life is a constant series of failures. As Kane's career continues to soar, his political ambitions take center stage. Kane decides to run for governor of New York, but his campaign is destroyed when a scandal involving his affair with Susan Alexander comes to light. This scandal tarnishes Kane's public image and effectively ends his political career. The scandal also highlights the duplicity of Kane's character. While he presents himself as a champion of the people, his personal life contradicts his public persona. This marks a significant turning point in the film, as Kane begins to lose his influence. His empire begins to falter, and the public, once enamored by him, begins to turn against him. Kane's fall from grace is symbolized by his retreat to Xanadu, his vast, empty mansion. His emotional and physical decline mirrors the collapse of his empire. The mansion, once a symbol of his success, becomes a prison for Kane. Surrounded by luxury, he is alone. He spends his days in solitude, surrounded by the trappings of his wealth, but devoid of meaningful human connection. The mansion, with its grand halls and empty rooms, serves as a reflection of Kane's internal emptiness. His obsession with material success has isolated him from the very things that could have brought him happiness: love, friendship, and connection. As the film progresses, the mystery of Rosebud becomes central. Reporter Jerry Thompson continues his investigation into Kane's life, speaking with those who knew him. He interviews Kane's former business associates, friends, and ex-wife, Emily Norton. Through these interviews, the film reveals a fragmented portrait of Kane, one that is difficult to understand in its entirety. Each person offers a different perspective on who Kane was and what motivated him. These differing views reflect the complexity of Kane's character and underscore the central theme of the film, that no single person or event can fully define a life. Thompson's investigation leads him to the final revelation about Rosebud. After speaking with Susan Alexander, Thompson uncovers the truth. Rosebud was the name of a sled that Kane had as a child. The sled represents Kane's lost childhood and the innocence that he could never regain. It is a symbol of the love and happiness he once had but lost when he was taken from his mother and sent to live with Mr. Thatcher. The sled, which Kane had before being sent away, becomes a poignant reminder of the simplicity and joy of his early years, before his life was consumed by ambition and power. The final moments of the film are heartbreaking. The sled, now a forgotten relic of Kane's past, is revealed as the key to understanding his life. In the closing scene, the sled is burned in a furnace, symbolizing the destruction of Kane's innocence and the failure of his life's pursuit. Despite all his wealth, power, and success, Kane could never recapture the love and happiness he experienced as a child. The sled, representing all that Kane lost in his pursuit of greatness, becomes a tragic symbol of his life's emptiness. The film ends with a haunting image of the sled burning in the flames, its symbol of innocence, consumed by fire. This final image encapsulates the central theme of the film: the destructive nature of ambition and the emptiness of material success. Kane spent his entire life chasing after power and wealth, but in the end, these things could not fill the void within him. The mystery of Rosebud is not just a plot device. It is a metaphor for the emptiness that defines Kane's existence. The revelation of the sled is a poignant reminder that, in the end, love, connection, and happiness are the things that truly matter in life. Citizen Kane remains one of the most influential films ever made. Its revolutionary narrative structure, innovative cinematography, and profound exploration of human nature continue to inspire filmmakers and audiences today. The film's portrayal of Charles Foster Kane is a reminder of the dangers of ambition and the importance of human connection. Kane's life, marked by incredible success and heartbreaking failure, serves as a cautionary tale about the pursuit of power and the things we sacrifice in that pursuit. The cast of Citizen Kane also played a crucial role in bringing the complex story to life. Orson Welles, who directed and starred in the film, gave a brilliant performance as Charles Foster Kane. His portrayal of Kane, a man driven by ambition and consumed by loneliness, remains one of the most memorable performances in cinematic history. Welles's ability to capture the complexity of Kane's character, from his youthful idealism to his eventual isolation, was a key factor in the film's success. Other notable performances include Joseph Cotten as Jedediah Leland, Kane's friend and confidant, and Dorothy Cummingore as Susan Alexander, Kane's second wife. Ruth Warrick's portrayal of Emily Norton, Kane's first wife, adds to the film's exploration of Kane's relationships and their eventual destruction. The film's supporting cast also includes Everett Sloane, George Coulouris, and William Alland, all of whom contribute to the story's emotional depth and complexity. In conclusion, Citizen Kane is a cinematic masterpiece that tells the story of a man whose pursuit of wealth and power ultimately leads to his downfall. Through its innovative storytelling, stunning cinematography, and emotional depth, the film continues to captivate audiences and inspire filmmakers. The film's exploration of ambition, loneliness, and the quest for love makes it a timeless classic. Despite Kane's wealth, his life is ultimately a tragedy, one that underscores the emptiness of material success.